Hey everybody, Nightmare 5026 here. So now it is time for me to give you my two lists for theater movies that I saw last year. We're first going to start off with the bottom 10 from last year. But first, before that, I do have three honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Spider-Man Far From Home. So I liked Homecoming, and I liked the new iteration of Spider-Man by Tom Holland. But this movie just didn't work for me as much as the first one did. Now, I did like Mysterio, and there's one cool scene in there where you get to see Mysterio's powers, but I wasn't as entertained as much in the story and in just what was happening in the movie. Second honorable mention is Toy Story 4. So I am one of the people that thinks that they should have stopped at Toy Story 3, had a great conclusion. So this, to me, is one of the movies that I felt was kind of like unnecessary and a cash grab. It was an okay story, but it had a lot of new characters that you really can't get invested in, and it seemed like it just didn't work, at least in my eyes. And the last honorable mention is Gemini Man. Now, I'm a fan of Will Smith, and I thought the trailer actually looked kind of cool because there's a good bit of action, and I wanted to see where they were going with this, with the big surprise that they did when you see it in the trailer of two Will Smiths, one older and one younger. And going in the movie, it was a cool concept, but to me, it just didn't work. I didn't think the story was all that impressive. With some good action, but not enough to be a good movie for me. So now let's get into the bottom 10. Number 10 is Happy Death Day to You. Now, recently, I had actually seen Happy Death Day for the first time, and I thought it was inventive and interesting on how they did the horror. All about reliving the same day over and over again. The problem with Happy Death Day to You is that it was nothing new. You might have added a new character or two to who this is doing it to, but it was still the same thing, and it just didn't do anything original. Number 9 is Yesterday. Now, I'm not the hugest Beatles fan, but I went into it wanting to see. So I enjoyed the trailer, so I wanted to see how this movie was. And I didn't really like this movie at all. It's just like, there was nothing really that really entertained me all that much. I felt like I was just going through the motions with this movie. Number 8, sorry about that. Number 8 is MIB International. This is a disappointing movie because I own the first 3 Men in Black movies, and I enjoy them. And I thought, okay, so you have Chris Hemsworth and you have Tessa Thompson. That could definitely bring some laughter and some different experiences to it. And I enjoyed the trailers. Again, something about it just fell flat. My biggest thing was it looked like, and this could have been his character, but it just basically looked like Chris Hemsworth was just there. He didn't really show any emotion in the movie. Number 7, and this is controversial, I know for some people, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, I'm a huge Leo fan, and I like Brad Pitt. And I wanted this to be good. This is actually a movie that when it came out, I thought, okay, so this could get a lot of Oscar buzz for both Leo and Brad Pitt, which it's getting now, but I wouldn't put it there. I thought of the two, Leo was the better one, but he didn't really do anything to stand out, and Brad Pitt, obviously, to me, didn't do anything. I didn't like the story. There was nothing really that worked for me. 6 is Dumbo, the live-action remake. Now, I might have seen the original. I don't remember it at all if I did. Or this could be the first time I saw Dumbo. I don't remember. But I just didn't like this. Didn't like the story. I understood the story, but again, I wasn't connected or I wasn't entranced by the movie. Number 5 and number 4 are a little different because they are two movies that came out in 2018, but that I saw in 2019 in January, so I consider them 2019 movies. And number 5 is Mary Poppins Returns. Now, there is one redeeming quality in this movie. So it might have been higher, but I decided to put it at number 5. And that is Lin-Manuel Miranda. His street sweeper... he wasn't a street sweeper, sorry. His light man had, I think, the best song, which was the opening song. And I felt like he's the only one that brought real character to the movie. I didn't like Emily Blunt's portrayal. I didn't really find it that funny. And I wasn't really a big fan of the story. Number 4 is also from 2018, and that is Mary, Queen of Scots. Now, I knew nothing about this movie, but I didn't like the trailer, and it just didn't work for me. Again, it also always has to do with the story. I didn't like the characters. I never got really engaged in any of the movie. Number 3 is what I also consider to be another cash grab. Lego Movie 2. I enjoyed Lego Movie. And when I went into this one, it seemed like they were doing this just for money. Because I thought it was a ridiculous story. It was basically a movie that, in my opinion, did not need to be made. It could have just been the one movie, and I think people would have been satisfied with that. Number 2 and number 1, again, are a little different, but not in the 2018 way. These are both movies that I saw on Netflix, but that came out in 2019. Number 2 is Velvet Buzzsaw. So I was looking forward to this movie a little bit because it was Jake Gyllenhaal, and it was by the same guy that did Nightcrawler, and I did like that movie. And it was set in a different world. It was set in the art world. But to me, I was just bored. That's all it was. I watched the whole movie, and for most of it, I was just bored. Which is different from number 1, and that is High Flying Bird. It stars the same guy that did the Stephen King show, Castle Rock, Season 1. He was the main guy. But I was also bored in this movie. And the difference is, I stopped watching this after about 20 minutes because it didn't keep my attention. Well, that is my list of my bottom 10 theater movies of 2019. Come back next time and I will give you my top 10 list. This is Nightmare 5026 signing off. Have a good day.